Good morning, traders. It's 8 a.m. Chicago time on Tuesday, the 28th of November, 2023. This is episode number 2579. Thanks for joining. Another trader bite this morning. It's another yawn type morning, just sleepy markets, sleepy news. I want to remind you that derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. The overall market stance here is for mild risk off. We're seeing Europe selling a little bit, luxury brands getting hit and therefore being reflected in the. My sound is low. All right, quick adjustment here. 1 second. Un minuto. Um, All right. This is all just, now I'm unfortunately on Windows 11, so this stuff is a mystery now as to where it is. Okay, let's turn it up. Here it is. Should be better now, right? Should be better. Let me know if it's not. Um, okay, so let's move on. Oh, the whisperer. I like that. Um, just checking one more thing. Da-da-da. All right. Okay, so what do we have here today? Again, Europe getting hit a little bit with luxury brands, LVMH, Campari, and others. Um, this morning we had a couple of earnings announcements. PDD Holdings, Bank of Nova Scotia, nothing really fantastical. And other than that, really, there's a few news items. We did get the GfK consumer confidence out of Germany, came in at 27, negative 27.8, expected at negative 27.9. And K Schiller came out just a couple minutes ago, came in at zero point 0.2, was expected at zero point 0.3 year on year, 3.9 expected at 4%, so missed. And then today is very, very, very central bank speaker heavy with, we do have consumer confidence at 10, but we have Fed's Goolsbee, Fed's Waller at 10:05. We have Bowman at 10:45. We have ECB's President Lagarde at 11. We have BOE's Haskell, who's already made comments at noon Eastern. We have Fed's Barr at 1:05. We have ECB's Lane at 1:30. We have Fed's Barr at 3:30. And that wraps up the speakers, really, the main ones. And then South Korea has business conflict at 4. API crude oil stock change at 4:30. Construction work done in Australia at 7:30. And monthly CPI indicator for Australia at 7:30 as well. And then Bank of Japan's Adachi at 8:30. So it's been it's going to be one of those days where it's just news flow, news flow, news flow. So the latest is OPEC Plus is in a dispute right now. The members are in a dispute. They just can't seem to come to an agreement. And as a result, they may delay the supply meeting once again and instead hold a meeting on process. As I said, heavy Fed speaker schedule today. ECB's Nagel says that hikes are not over. BOE's Haskell says labor tightness needs higher for longer rates. Central bankers pushing back against a rate cut narrative. We've seen that. We're probably going to see that today. That these central bankers are all going to come out and are going to speak against the market pricing in a 25 basis point rate hike for rate cut for May 2024, and I think the Fed has to push against that, and that's what's happening. And then Adobe this morning reported that U.S. consumers spent 9.6% more this year over last year on Cyber Monday, 9.6%. We went through the schedule already. Let's look at the S&P. The S&P is in a multi-distribution profile auction, meaning active price discovery. There's a lot of news. Let me just double check here. I want to make sure I'm not missing a key event. 176,000 contracts traded so far is again just in line, and the inventory is 50% more short than long, meaning there's 50% more volume below yesterday's close than above it. The range so far is 17.75 points, which was better than what we saw yesterday as we were coming in. The point of control is hovering around 45.54. And if you recall, we talked about 45.50 yesterday being a place where the market's likely to chop around. So we're seeing crude pop a little bit. We're seeing gold pop a little bit. Copper as well. And then we have our crypto has been holding steady. Crypto's got a weakish kind of high and is very, very likely to push through this 38,000 figure. Let's take a look at the charts. Let's take a look at let's look at history. So yesterday, in fact, here's yesterday's plan, right? The main idea yesterday was to push to 62 from where we were. Let me change the color so I'm not overlapping. Is to open below value. So ignore this day. This day you need to ignore. That's Friday. We don't really care about Friday. It's not a real day. We expected the market to push back to value low around 62-ish, consolidate there, and then sell off, break the low from Wednesday, and then start this slippery slide down into 45.50. And it did not accomplish that. Instead, it accomplished scenario 2, which is to push back in, go up to the point of control. Remember, the number we wanted yesterday was 71-ish, and then from there we expected it to hold sideways. So that was scenario 2. Push up to the point of control, test the point of control, test the 71 area, and then go sideways. Here's what it actually did. This is yesterday's RTH right here, so this is what you want to look at. Yesterday's RTH open, squeeze up to 67, squeeze down. The prior low is not touched, completely sideways, so pushed a lot further. Remember, I was looking for 62. If it was going to hold, it would hold to 62. It went all the way up to 67, down. We had a clear IB high. We had a double IB low. Expect that to be broken. And then it extends to the upside and goes to 70 and then just goes sideways. So scenario 2, not quite as I drew it, but pretty much what was discussed, right? Push up to 71, it got to 70, and then go sideways. Okay, so that's what we have there. And then looking at the current action, so since we reopened, sideways, sell off, finally take out that low from 2 days ago, or from Wednesday's low, retest a VWAP here, extend down, and now we're holding sideways. So multi-distribution. This is Alfred Hitchcock's profile here on the screen. So multi-distribution profile, and just kind of sitting sideways. We do have a little bit of separation between price and the VWAP, but we're right on top of the overnight point of control. So it's shifted down and it's coming into balance. Um, coming into today's market. So it really, there isn't much going on. You could see that the delta is not really there. There's not much of an aggression in the overnight session. It's tilted to the downside, coming in and seeing that we are holding the VWAP above the price action. To me, that's an indication. What we would want to see is, does the market come back, take the VWAP and use that as a floor? In that case, we have a responsive market. Or does it come back, kind of poke around, and then continue? That is an initiative down market. We have scenario one. Um, we have scenario one playing out from yesterday today. So that's what it looks like. Yesterday when we came in, the delta was positive, and we did end up pushing higher, but overall yesterday didn't accomplish anything. It was an inside day. It basically reaffirmed last Wednesday's auction, and now we're moving away from that. Okay, so that's where the S&P is. Looking at, well, let's look at gold for a second, because gold just had a little bit of a flutter. While that's loading, here's the NQ. So the NQ, we're going to ignore this. Okay, and then we're going to look at this day being the last normal day. This day here being the last normal day in the NQ. And it ended here. So this is the last normal day right here. Okay. And what the NQ did yesterday is it pushed up, retested the POC from last Wednesday, rejected it. So I put together an image for the folks at Conversion. I'm just going to be lazy and I'm just going to pull that up. I don't want to recreate the wheel here. Here it is. This is the NQ in a nutshell. It opened below the prior day's, it opened below the prior day's low, so it already broke the one-time framing up. It tested down, it put in excess lows, and then it pushed up. It extended, B bracket extended over A bracket, so now we're triggering on the buy side. We're inside of the value area now, so we expect, since the value low held for a microsecond here, it pushed to it and then came off in the morning. We're in value, so we expect it to take out the point of control, and it did. It pushed right into that 85 area. It put in an excess high. It collided. It found a lot of steady offers at those prices. You can see those collisions where that square is, pretty steady collisions up there, and then it put in an excess high and came right back down the middle and held steady into the middle. What it did though is it finished at the low of last Wednesday's, the last true session. The NQ is indicating that it is capping out, that it's rotating over. And so it's kind of, to me it looks like the short side may have the upper hand going forward. And this morning we are opening. Here's the NQ. This is based on yesterday, so let's fold that into a normal profile, and you can see we're opening right at the low. So the NQ, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but the NQ is very likely to have, we had an excess, and now we're in that excess, and we've gone all the way down here in the overnight session. We're coming back to the excess. So to me, it's an open that's likely to recheck the 16,000, get in here, and then we're very likely to start one-time framing down with a lower high. We did leave We did leave an excess high up here, and it was completely unchallenged. So to me, this looks like it is done to the upside, at least temporarily. The auction in the NQ, the structure looks like it is heading south from here. For the ES, now to double back to the ES, this is the ES's auction. This is the ES's auction. We have a lot going on in this area, as you can see, quite a bit going on here. And then yesterday, it did what it did. It extended the range up, but managed to finish in the middle. Yesterday, couldn't take out the low, couldn't take out the high. We do have an excess high in the ES left behind from Wednesday. We put that in and we closed way down here below the point of control. So seeing some weakness in the ES since Wednesday. And then yesterday it did the same thing. It checked the point of control up here and finished way down here. And then this morning it's gapping down. It's down at 45.52.50 below those. So to follow the same auction process, open auction, looking for responsive buying, most likely struggling at the 55.56 this morning. If we do get any push higher, and then I expect it to kind of sit around here and then ultimately come back to the open and then start working itself down to follow what was yesterday's plan, right? Push down into 45.50, struggle at 45.50, get down into 36.37, and then ultimately be down at 45.20. So here's 45.50. Struggle a little bit in here, and then ultimately get down into 36.37, and then we're looking for 45.20 as the equilibrium point as we move out of here. Okay, so that's the primary scenario. The secondary scenario, let me change colors. That's a pretty color. The secondary scenario is open auction, attempt to push lower, unable. You have your impulse higher. It finally gets some pretty decent buyers, closes the gap, struggles with the low from way back here from Wednesday, struggles with yesterday's low, but if it breaks higher, then you're looking for a long back to value low and back to settlement. Okay, so we're looking for a trade from about 45, 56, 57 back to 61 as the initial target, and then ultimately we would expect it back at the point of control, but that's not likely today. So we're looking for 64, 65 on an extended basis. That's if buyers see this as cheap again and step back in. That would be the case. But most likely, this market is about to roll over, and it's showing signs already in the auction that it's about to do so. Okay, so I'll leave you with that. Good luck. Just don't want to make these longer than they need to be. Good luck today, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Don't forget to hit the like button if you're not a subscriber to the channel. Hit subscribe. It's free. It helps promote the channel and gets more traders to look at how we're looking at things here. Good luck.